Good afternoon, Statesmen faithful. I'm Wade Simel, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications here at William Penn. I'm also joined by Nick Rule, our Athletics Director, and our new head women's wrestling coach, Jay Kadel, as well as our new assistant men's and women's assistant coach, Cash Wilcke. I think I said assistant twice, but that's okay. Make sure. All right, guys, welcome to, again, the Statesman Nation, the Statesman faithful. We're really excited to have you aboard. Nick, we're just going to throw it over to you first before we go with the coaches and talk, introduce them to everybody in the Navy and Gold world. But let's just talk about this whole process. Unfortunately for you guys have been off campus, we said, unfortunately for Iowa Wesleyan and the closing there, but it has become William Penn's gain and getting a couple of great coaches. But Nick, talk about this process that obviously happened really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this happened a lot faster than maybe a normal process. But I'm telling you, hiring when it comes into intercollegiate athletics is getting faster and faster. And we know, and William Penn's changed as well over time. We're able to get our top targets recently, which has been awesome. When you go back to Coach Benavidez and Coach Eldridge, and just the list goes on. And so when the job opened up, every decent AD in the country has a list.
Yeah.
Okay, and these guys were on the top of that list. And obviously we when we go through a process like that, we want to be respectful and all that to other institutions. But then soon after it happened, and we heard about the unfortunate situation at Iowa Wesleyan with them closing, and immediately we just started communicating. And the AD at Iowa Wesleyan immediately picked up the phone and called me. He and I have a really good relationship and recommended these guys. And we just started having just really good conversations. And it happened so fast. Feels like it's been weeks, but it's really just been days. And just heard their vision, heard what they want to do, knowing what we want to do. And it's just a perfect fit. So as a university, we felt like, hey, we need to, get both of them here. And here we are today. And I think it's really good going forward. We have a lot of momentum. They met with the team, and we'll get into that. And I just think that the visions have aligned here, and I think the future is very bright with wrestling here and women's wrestling.
Definitely. All right, Coach Kadel, we'll go to you first here. And this is a lot of these questions are going to go for both of you guys. So at any point, if you guys want to talk, both of you can. Obviously, you were, as Nick said, you were pursued by other institutions as well. What made William Penn the place that you wanted to come to?
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of experience being here. They run very high-level tournaments and our dual meets and all that stuff. So that's really one thing that kind of stuck out to us right away is we know the professionalism here is very high level. And so that's, as coaches here, we have high-level standards for our program. And so that aligns pretty well with what we are on board with, So and then just overall, the way that they communicate and things like that really stuck out to me as a coach when we were trying to set up our dual meets and all that stuff, as a staff. So the way they run things here is very high level, and that's what we want as a coaching staff and a program. And so that stuck out and made it kind of easy, but at the same time, the state of Iowa is very big with wrestling and things like that. So staying closer to where we were at made things a little easier because I'm from New London, which is right next to Mount Pleasant, which is only about an hour. So staying closer to home, that's important too, family and supporters and things like that. It helps with that. So, but yeah, it was just a lot of good opportunities here, and then just overall the institution I think has a lot more to offer than what we had over there, and so super excited for the support of our program and things like that moving forward.
Sure.
So, you got anything?
Well said.
Ditto, right? You guys are both Iowa guys, actually, and in that respect, both University of Iowa guys. So, you've had your entire wrestling career has been built in the state of wrestling that we have in Iowa. But talk a little bit about recruiting. Actually, I'm going to back that up a little bit. I didn't really give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves and talk about your background and kind of how you've gotten to where you are at this point. So I apologize. I should have started that off. But if you guys can quick, give a little background on both of you.
So I grew up in Battle Creek, Iowa. It's way northwest Iowa, about 3 hours away from here. I started wrestling when I was around kindergarten and got into it because my brother liked it and just fell in love with it then. I wrestled at OABCIG in Ida Grove, Iowa. I was a 4-time placer and 2-time state champ, and then went to the University of Iowa and wrestled there for 5 years, and that's where I met Kadel. And then so I was a freshman when he was a senior, and then right after I graduated, he reached out to me to be a graduate assistant at Iowa Wesleyan, and so I did that for 2 years, and then got hired as the assistant and head coach, and here we are now. So.
Yeah, I'm from New London, Iowa, just southeast Iowa, so very familiar with the area. I had a successful high school career as well, and then just went on to wrestle at the University of Iowa for 5 years, and then I worked in a research lab up there for 2 years after that, so I was kind of still around a little bit here and there. Didn't really get on the mat or any of that stuff, but still had obviously a lot of good friends and stuff in the program, so still around it for there. And then at around COVID time, position opened up at Iowa Wesleyan. At the time I finished up my master's degree, so it was a good opportunity to come back. A lot of my friends and my brothers finished up, so kind of that was extra draw to come back to the area. And so and then unfortunately the school shut down, and here we are.
Right.
So
Being that you guys are both Iowa guys, and this is a really, really big picture question here, but being that Iowa is now just sanctioned girls wrestling and all of that, and wrestling obviously is just growing on the women's side. Talk about your recruiting strategy, especially in regards to recruiting Iowa girls.
Yeah, I think just starting local. I mean, thinking back to what we were originally doing before, is like starting local is important, just because it helps build the fan base of the community and things like that. So focusing locally is important, and on top of that, in-state is important as well. It helps build the wrestling here, and I mean, they have people from their high schools, so it's a little bit easier for recruiting at the local level there too. So that's kind of a big focus, and then on top of that, obviously we want to draw in some of the top talent in the country as well, because that helps too. So and then they always bring different perspectives and opportunities and things like that from them as well, and so it's good just to get an overall melting pot, I guess, of athletes. So
which is very much like who we are.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, it
it's
aligns right with what William Penn has always done, and what we continue to do is always wanting to have not just Mahaska County kids, but definitely all around the world. So in line with talking recruiting, what are you looking for in potential recruits? You know, what stands out as this is what I want a William Penn wrestler to look like?
So for me, the biggest thing when I go recruiting kids is I want to see that they're hard workers, because we've been wrestling pretty much our whole lives, so we can definitely teach the athletes how to wrestle, but it's a little bit harder to teach them how to work hard.
Sure.
So usually the people who jump a lot of levels when the older they get, it's because of their hard work. So they show up every day and work hard, and like I said, we can teach them how to wrestle, but when they are willing to show up and work hard, that's when they really start jumping levels.
Right.
yeah, basically what he said. Academics always help too. Good academics is
Sure.
important. Working hard, and then just overall being a good person is important as well. You know, so obviously you got to kind of recruit the whole family, and that plays a part into it too. So that helps to kind of see where their background comes from and their environment. So that's important to us, just having good people, and I mean that makes a lot easier.
Sure.
So
Nick, do you want to add anything to that? Sorry.
No, it's very. I mean, just hearing them talk, it's just it just shows how good of a fit it is.
Right.
It's right in line with who we are. You know, and I'm just sitting here nodding because that's exciting.
Yeah.
So.
Freestyle, obviously totally different than folk style. Talk about your guys' experience with that, and just how you've, especially on the women's side, obviously been really successful in getting, talented individuals. And were they good at freestyle, or I mean, what have you been looking for on the freestyle side? Obviously, that's a different beast in recruiting that versus folk style.
Mm-hmm. You want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we have really good freestyle experience. You know, we wrestled at the University of Iowa. I wrestled freestyle all through high school as well. So I think I started probably like my freshman year of high school or so. So that's kind of when I first started, and then obviously took it a lot more serious the older I got. And then on top of that, being a part of up there at Iowa, we have the Hawkeye Wrestling Club, which is consists of guys that are working to wrestle and make world and Olympic championships and win those as well. So we trained alongside with them every day, you know, especially there was no off season up there, you know, as soon as we finished up season, we got right into training for like the U23s and the, which used to be out in Ohio. I think it is again this year too, but we went right into training for that, and that usually was in into May, and so we went straight into freestyle only. And so with that, I mean, we had the best of the best there. We had one of my good buddies and training partners was Dan Dennis. He was the 2016 Olympian there. Tony Ramos was another one. He was a multiple-time world team member as well. I traveled a lot with him. Brent Metcalf, he was a multiple-time world team member. I trained a lot with him as well, and he's one of the assistant coaches at Iowa State, you know. So we had a lot of really good training partners, and and we had the best coaches in the world, you know.
Sure.
Tom Brand's Olympic champion, you know. So they have some of the best techniques that they were able to bring from all over the world into our wrestling room, and so just being able to learn and pick their brains and things like that is really helped us develop when we were learning and continuing to learn freestyle. So I think that was important for me, but I'll let him dive in on that.
Yeah, I mean, you covered it pretty well. For me, I just did freestyle pretty much in the off season, over the summer, between, you know, baseball season. But yeah, I always loved freestyle. I loved how it's a little more relaxed and kind of more fun to do. So I did it pretty much my whole life growing up too. And then, like you said, when we went to the University of Iowa, we were seeing the highest high level
Right.
freestyle. So we picked up a lot there and just keep learning every day with it too.
Yeah. So safe to say, if you were telling a recruit, you know, obviously you guys are looking for freestyle on the women's side, mind you. But, you know, if you're trying to sign a recruit and be like, all right, you don't have as much freestyle experience, that's okay.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah.
We can certainly coach you up because we know you know the basics on everything else. Now we can add a few more things to your arsenal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we even had a lot of girls on our team coming into the program never wrestled freestyle before.
Sure.
You know, so it's not a big deal. Really, at the end of the day, it's just wrestling. You know, there's a little bit of different rule changes, but everything's pretty applicable from folk style to freestyle. You know, so it's not a big difference really. But like I said, as long as you work hard, you'll be fine.
Right. All right, I'm going to give you guys a break for a second. Go over to Nick. Let's talk the history of wrestling alumni here at William Penn. We've had obviously the men's program for a lot of years, but you know the women's program's new. But again, we're in a state of it's wrestling.
Yeah.
Everybody loves wrestling.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what these guys are stepping into and just the alumni reaction so far. And since just in a matter of 2 weeks basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, the news officially broke on our campus today.
Yeah.
And I would say our wrestling alumni are some of our most passionate alumni, especially back from the 70s era. And they're just super passionate, super involved, come back to all the homecomings. You got guys like Andy Davidson. And I mean, I've got a lot of phone calls to return today of congratulating William Penn for getting these two. They're excited. They want to meet these guys. They want men's wrestling to be successful, but they also want women's wrestling to be very successful, even though women's wrestling wasn't here during that time.
Right.
And the one thing I've learned about the wrestling community is that they know each other, they know what's going on, they know the ins and outs. It's a very well connected community. And as soon as that came out this morning, I mean, I've got our operations team that has reached out to me saying, hey, you got to give this person a call back because they're calling our athletics hotline number.
Right.
But the first message I got was they want to congratulate and just so excited for the future of women's wrestling here. And so that's awesome. And, building off what Coach Black started here, he was our first coach. And it's been really cool to see the alumni support. I haven't even really been in my office because we had NAI convention last week, so I don't know what emails I have to return. But I'm just telling you, it is it's been very, very busy this morning from our alumni. Super excited about this. Yeah. So I that makes me excited even more because you want your alumni to feel really good about the direction and where everything's going, and we feel like we're going in a good direction in a lot of places, and you can add this one to the list.
Definitely. All right, guys, back to you. Now that it's been announced and you guys have switched the colors and all of that, now you have the hard work of making this work. because it sounds like there's going to be some transfers coming with you or from another school or whatever situation, but there's obviously already a team here. So now you have to work on just getting everyone together on the same page. How are you going to do that?
Number one thing is just communication. We kind of were in a similar situation last year, actually. I mean, we got thrown into the interim coaching titles and things like that last year, and we basically had to save our program last year, and it worked out, so that was tough to deal with. And so for us, it hasn't been easy, but I mean, I think that's what helped us a lot. We got a lot of different experiences on how to make things work, and that's important. So, but the biggest thing is everybody's got to get to meet each other and get to know each other, and that's important too. So that's kind of probably step number one, but we're still not on full for sure who all's gonna come with us and that kind of stuff too, so but it'll work out. I'm optimistic that it's gonna be good. The joining of the teams is ultimately gonna be good for everybody together. We got more training partners, we got a super team basically. They were good in the spots that we lacked a little bit this year, so just in combining those together is going to be a good fit. So super excited for the opportunity, and obviously the goal is to win national championships. So I think both teams combining together is going to be a really great thing, and I think overall it'll work out.
Yeah.
It'll work out.
Well, I think you keep that super team phrase in your back pocket and use it whenever you want and be like, I'm pretty sure people will jump on board.
Well, and I'll jump in really quick on it. I mean, we've been working very closely with the Iowa Wesleyan administration and Derek Zander, their AD there, who I like a lot. And, they're officially going to start here on May 1, so they can continue to make sure that, they're taking care of the student athletes there and able to communicate and take care of them here. That's a really good partnership to be able to do that. And so, it gives us the time to kind of go through a little bit of relationship building process, a month of really kind of getting everything together to where it's not like they can't talk to people and all that. They literally can talk to everyone involved in the whole thing. So just that type of support and that partnership. And, William Penn is a teach out school with Iowa Wesleyan right now. And so, we're really hoping and anticipating a lot of just Iowa Wesleyan students beyond even wrestling going to come here. Right. So we have a strong partnership between our two schools, and we're going to make sure that strong partnership continues to exist through the next month as the transition is made. So then, those student athletes at Iowa Wesleyan and the student athletes at William Penn all feel like they can assimilate together in a very strong culture. And they met with the team early this afternoon. And you could just feel that the level of comfort developing from that after the conversation happened. So I think it's going to be a different, uncommon transition because this is an uncommon situation. But we've got resources and things in place to make sure that everyone feels like they're valued.
Definitely. All right, I'm going to actually segue right into that since you talked about the team you guys having met with the team. So how did that meeting go? I mean, it was. Nick makes it sound like it was all, roses and everything.
It was a good meeting. I mean, there was honest questions. It was good.
Sure.
Yeah.
So just from your guys' perspective as well.
Yeah, it went really good. We just went up there and kind of told them a little bit about ourselves and how our two programs combining is going to be really beneficial for the both of us, and how we really think it's going to work out. And by the end of the talk that we had with them, they were all asking questions and all coming up and talking to us after, which is a good sign. So
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
You want to add anything to that?
Oh, sorry.
No, all good. Yeah, it's just comforting,
Yeah.
It's good.
All right. Final question I have. Obviously, again, very difficult situation, leaving the school, and all of that. But how has this change, again, in just a few days of trying to think of this change? But how has this change both exciting and maybe motivating you? I mean, this is a new chapter now in your guys' careers.
Yeah, just seeing a lot of the stuff that I've never really seen before here just today is just makes you see how much better things are over here than what we had, so, just we were able to see the weight room and all that stuff was just super eye-opening, and it's just like, holy smokes, can't imagine if we had that kind of stuff, so it's just super exciting, just overall I think it's going to be better support, everything, the facilities and a lot more opportunities, and so it's super. Motivation doesn't change, it's just because we're motivated in the first place, but at the same time, like, just the excitement was already there, but now it's like tenfold. So it's good. We're super excited to get started and get the ball rolling, and it'll be good. I think it'll work out, and we're excited for the next step. So
Yeah. Well, you guys are young, so you have plenty of energy to take on this challenge. So awesome. Nick, anything you want to add?
I would just say there's a lot of momentum right now, and that room today was really good. You never know when you have a coaching transition how that's going to feel, but I noticed I gave these guys a lot of props, because when we talked about, like I said, I was just at NAI convention, just got back. We were texting yesterday. They're like, hey, can we come up today? Meet with the team. Our first meeting, the first meeting they wanted to have on campus was the team. That's pretty cool. And I think the girls appreciated that. And, and I know Coach Scott's really excited to have the additional support on the men's side. And I just think that the future is very, very bright. And we're a university that has a lot of positive momentum right now. And it's a really good time to be a part of the Statesmen family, and a really good time to be a Statesman faithful. And, it's time to get to work. And I think things are going to be really good. This is going to be a very good step as we continue to take steps in this program.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, that'll do it for us here. Once again, we are very excited to have both Coach Kadel and Coach Wilcke joining the Statesmen family. And we're going to see you guys a lot around, and we'll definitely keep tabs on you as we're going along. But if you come on campus or anything, definitely say hi to them. They'll be on campus soon. But just a lot of great momentum continuing here in Oskaloosa at William Penn. So thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Nick. And everybody have a great day. It's a great day to be a Statesman.
Yeah, so great day to be a Statesman.